Well, hello again. I'm Bill Russell, president of Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, and we have another Around the Lake. And today we have John Alexander with Stop Restoration. John's a member of my board of directors. John, I know what Stop Restoration is, but explain, what is Stop Restoration?
Well, thanks for having me, Bill. And Stop Restoration is short for Service Team of Professionals. So it's kind of nice having your company's logo on 48% of the intersections in America. All right. So that comes in handy. So what Stop Restoration is, we are a property restoration company. Our services include odor control, disinfection, emergency water mitigation, mold remediation, which includes crawl space remediation, fire and smoke restoration, biohazard environmental services. We're based right here in Huntersville, and we are 24/7, 365 for emergency services.
John, what do you consider your service area? I mean, obviously Huntersville, but do you go into Charlotte, up to Statesville? What's your target market?
Well, we're licensed anywhere in the state of North Carolina. And so we try to stay within a 50-minute radius of Huntersville, which is typically around 35, 40 miles outside of the Huntersville area. So we have done business in Statesville, and we have done business over in Midland, North Carolina. We've also done business in Gastonia, and we've also gone just right north of the South Carolina line. So really all points in between those right there.
How did you get into the restoration business?
Well, I had a previous career in healthcare, and pretty much had that whipped. And so took some time off, reflected, took a battery of aptitude tests, and I had always kind of dabbled in restoration a little bit here, a little bit there. And one of my aptitude tests come back as restoration. I was like, ha, what do you know? So did my due diligence, and was pretty confident that I did not want to reinvent the wheel. So I bought a franchise of Stop Restoration, and we opened hung our shingle out December 1st of 2019, and haven't looked back since.
2019 is when you went
Yes,
into
sir.
business.
Yes, sir.
Commercial and residential?
Yes, sir. We do commercial, residential, also industrial space, and commercial can be, obviously from a business to a rental property. We do a lot of work on rental properties.
John, I've never shared this story before, but I was up in the boardroom, and it was probably 2016 that this occurred. But I was up in the boardroom doing a seminar, and all of a sudden, I started getting texts, and I'm trying to, do my job up there. So I kind of ignored the text. Next thing I know, somebody's at the door going like, "We got a problem downstairs." The water fountain downstairs next to the men's room had let go. It just let go.
Yep.
And water was gushing out of the water fountain from the bottom. And at first we didn't know how to turn the water off. We
Right.
didn't know how to turn the water off. So it was saturating the carpet everywhere. And we did finally figure out how to turn it off at the source. And we did that. But then the next thing is, okay, now you have water soaked in everywhere. We called a competitor because you weren't in business at the time. It was a chamber board member who was in the restoration business, and they took care of it and brought in the fans and dried everything out. But if you don't do that, that can get into the walls, creating mold, mildew, a whole host of things.
That's correct. Yeah. We always encourage anyone and everyone, know where the water shutoff is to your house or to your business. Just for those reasons right there, and about probably 98% of the people that we make this recommendation to do not know where their water shutoff is. And so that's when we take the opportunity. It's like, okay, let's sniff around here a little bit and find your water supply shutoff. And a goodly amount of those are in the garage, somewhere around the water heater, and it's labeled with a blue handle indicating water. That's the water shut off to your home or your business. And yeah, in that particular situation, microbial growth is what we call it in the biz. We don't use the other M word. If the conditions are right, if it's 60% relative humidity, above 75 degrees Fahrenheit, if there is a fuel, biofuel, like, wood, carpet, things like that. And if it's dark, 72 hours is a threshold to where microbial growth will start to colonize. So getting this turned around and pointed in the right direction within a timely manner means everything. So we can go from, a water mitigation. If we get beyond that, and, a lot of people have had leaks in their houses. Well, I sucked it up with a shop vac and, got through some towels on it. And that's, you get an A for effort, but chances are that's not going to be sufficient. And like I say, if it gets beyond 72 hours, we're in a whole nother ballpark.
Obviously, water damage from what I just mentioned. I also had a personal problem, and I shared this with you, I think, about my washing machine hose busted. I didn't know
Yep.
you were supposed to replace washing machine hoses, but they rot.
Yes.
And
Yes, they do.
fortunately for me, I was home. You mentioned all of the other things that you cover, but what are some of the other things? Smoke damage, and
Yes, sir.
kitchen fires. What are some of the other things that you see that's common in businesses and residences that you take care of outside of water damage?
Well, we do a goodly amount of mold, microbial growth remediation. And again, that's because, there's been a slow leak behind the wall to your dishwasher or to your clothes washer. And, you might notice a little spot on your drywall or your baseboard that, oh, that looks suspicious. And, almost every time if there is a manifestation of the mold, a small spot down in those areas, the entire wall on the inside can be involved. We see that quite commonly. When it comes to fire and smoke restoration, we see a goodly amount of that. And a lot of people don't understand that, yeah, the fire's out and you've tried your best to, get the smell out. Soot, that is a remnant of, unburnt carbon, is very, very dangerous. And, even if you think you got it, you need to contact your insurance company, file a claim, and then get us out there so we can get that soot out of the area. And we don't always encourage everyone to contact their insurance agency right away. There's times when there's been a water loss. Hold up on getting a claim or starting a claim. Let us get out there and look at it first. That way, if if it's less than your deductible, great, no harm, no foul. But if you have filed a claim and say our services are a couple of bucks over your, standard $1,000 deductible, and you decide not to, continue with the claim for reimbursement with your insurance company, you're still going to get that ding on your record. A lot of people don't know that. And so we encourage everyone just to, wait, let us get out there, let us take a look at it, and then we'll go from there.
John, you've been involved with the Chamber of Commerce for a couple, 3 years. I think you're on our board of directors now. Prior to that, you were involved in the Huntersville Connection, Huntersville Chamber of Commerce, which is now part of our Chamber of Commerce. You're somebody that believes in chamber activity and being involved. Why should a business that's not a member of the chamber get involved? Whether it's our chamber, the Statesville Chamber, Cabarrus Chamber, why should they get involved in a Chamber of Commerce?
Well, in my opinion, being a member of Chamber of Commerce would behoove you from the standpoint of exposure for your business. We're very, very blessed with our Chamber of Commerce. We have an exceptionally active Chamber of Commerce, and that's a credit to you, Bill, and your crew. And, you get to meet so many people that, it may be a totally unrelated business to what you're, is part of your target market, but you get to meet people. It's all about networking. It's all about getting out there and, putting yourself out there. And, like say, I've been, I'm on the board with the Huntersville Connections and also on the board with the Lake Norman Chamber. And I don't regret 1 second of it. It has been just wonderful for the people I've met, the friends I've made. And, like I say, the opportunity for that exposure, for you to get out there and network with people and meet people and shake hands. And, I call it grip and grin. And so, it's just, I highly encourage anyone that has a business in the Lake Norman area, to join the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce. It's worth your while, I promise.
Last question of you, John. You live and work in Huntersville.
Yes, sir.
What do you enjoy most about living and working in Huntersville in the Lake Norman region?
Oh gosh, there's multiple things. We really believe, we've been in the area for 27 and a half years now, getting on 28 actually. And we love the area from a standard of living perspective. It's a great place to raise a family, which we raised ours here. And both of our kids graduated from Huff High. And the people that we have met here, we all have, similar likes and dislikes and ideology and philosophy. And there's so much to do here. It's such an active area. When we moved into Huntersville in 1997, there were 3,600 residents here. Okay. So last time I knew, we're right around 70,000 now.
That's right.
So wow, and I tell people when I first moved here, there was a lot of trees and a couple of cows, and that was it. And I really like the small town feel. That was what was so inviting to me in Huntersville. And we have grown exponentially, as the entire Lake Norman corridor has. And it's yeah, we've had our growing pains, but boy, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Well, John, thank you for being on this morning, sharing a little bit about stop restoration, also about tips about what you should do if you have a problem at your home. And we all want to thank Joe Vagnone as well, because Joe Vagnone, a local business broker, is the presenting sponsor of Around the Lake. So again, thank everybody for watching. And John, I hope you have some very happy holidays coming up.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, Bill.